Hey everyone, this is the Millionaire Hippies podcast with your host, Boom Shikha, where we chat about spirituality, business, and health. We all want to live self-actualizing, fulfilling lives with joy, prosperity, and gratitude. Let's go on this beautiful journey together.
Hey everyone, welcome to another podcast episode. I want to speak to you guys today about something that I have been thinking about and kind of formulating my own thoughts on the subject. And I find that creating a podcast on it and speaking to you guys in this manner really helps me clarify my ideas as much as perhaps it helps you. So let's do this thing. So today I want to speak to you guys about this quote from Eckhart Tolle. I think that's how you pronounce it. And the quote says this: ultimately, you're not a person, but a focal point where the universe is becoming conscious of itself. Now, this kind of comes from the idea of fractals. And in fractals, one small part of something is a tiny, perfect replica of the whole. So one small part of something is a tiny, perfect replica of the whole. And that's what human beings are described as in terms of the universe. Each human being is a perfect replica of the universe. That is, we hold the universe in ourselves because we are the universe. And the universe is us. So the universe is inside of us and we are in the universe. Each one of us is a perfect replica of the universe. So if nothing else existed except for one of us, the universe would still exist because we actually represent the universe. And through us, the universe, which is us, is becoming conscious of itself. We are becoming conscious of ourselves. The universe is becoming conscious of itself. Everything is becoming conscious of everything else because everything is itself. I hope this kind of makes sense to you guys. It can kind of get a little bit confusing at times. So we kind of have to go back to the fractal idea. A fractal is like a crystalline structure where each part of it is a perfect replica of the whole of it. So even if you break out a fractal into the smallest part of itself, it'll still look exactly like the whole would. The same thing with human beings, right? We're exactly perfect replicas of the universe. Even if nothing else existed, and I was the only person who was left behind on this planet, the only consciousness, I would still hold the entire universe in myself. And so therefore, there is no need to be afraid because we are not only creating the universe, but we are the universe. And if you could just remember that, it's so important. If you could just remember that we're not just in the universe. We're not just taking part in this drama that is taking place on this planet, Earth, but we're actually the creators, the co-creators of this universe that we're living in. We're actually co-creating this world that we're in at the same time with the universe. The universe is not doing this for us. The universe is doing it with us. We are co-creators in this beautiful play that we're taking part in this, on this planet, in this universe. So we're not just bystanders or we're not just observers, which we are as well, because we're also conscious and we're also taking part in all the different roles that have to be done, but we're also conscious of everything and co-creating in everything. Now this can kind of get really confusing at times because if you think about it, if we are helping the universe, which we are as well, but we're also helping the universe become conscious of itself. It means that the universe will not know itself unless we exist. Does that make sense? Because we're helping the universe become conscious of itself. It's like the universe it's unable to be conscious of itself without a human presence, without our consciousness. And the same thing comes back to being co-creators. We are creating this world not because the universe is doing it for us, but we're doing it with the universe. We're co-creators. We're bringing it all up together. So what does this mean? I feel like this idea that we're helping the universe become conscious of itself and that we're part of the whole, we're perfect replicas of the whole, it gives kind of what happens that it gives a power back to humanity. It gives a power back to consciousness. We're not just random people that have been placed on this planet because we're going to ruin the planet or we're here to kind of do some writing and have some babies and go into retirement work a job, whatever. It's not because of these things that we've been put on this planet. It's because we are an absolute essential need for the universe. We need to be here, otherwise the universe would not be conscious of itself. We're actually fulfilling a really important role for the universe. It's like if we did not exist, if consciousness didn't exist, then the universe wouldn't exist either, because the universe would know that it existed because we are, through our being, making it conscious of itself. Does that make sense? So if we did not exist, the universe wouldn't exist because the universe wouldn't know that it exists. And if it doesn't know it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. There has to be consciousness for both the universe to exist and for us to exist as well. It's like that saying, and it's really repeated and it's really old, but it says that, does a tree fall if there is no one in the forest to hear it? Does it actually truly fall? And the answer, according to this forum, is no. The tree didn't actually fall because it needs, this world, this universe needs consciousness in order for it to happen. In order for it to be conscious, it needs consciousness. It's like this closed loop where it's like a chicken and the egg kind of theory, right? Consciousness was it consciousness first or was it universe first? Where we have no idea. We can't actually say, because the universe needs consciousness in order to be aware of itself, but the consciousness is part of the universe and it's a perfect replica of it. It's like the chicken and the egg. I can never figure out what came first, right? Even if you go back to the Big Bang Theory, what caused the Big Bang Theory? Well, it was consciousness. But then consciousness doesn't exist. The universe doesn't exist without consciousness, and consciousness doesn't exist without this universe. It's like we're part of this yin-yang symbol where one cannot exist without the other, and we're intermingling into each other, and it's just such an important, epic part of our learning as human beings, because we're realizing we're not just here to play a part in this world for a few seconds and then we leave. It's that the universe needs us to be here, otherwise it would not exist. And that kind of gives a new perspective into the idea that, human beings are not just viruses that are taking over this planet and killing Mother Earth slowly. Obviously, we are doing that as well, but perhaps it is necessary for the evolution of our consciousness. Perhaps this is exactly what is supposed to happen in order for us to keep on evolving to that next level where we're supposed to be getting to. If you believe that we're going through a spiritual awakening right now, which I do believe, that the people are changing, everything's changing, the mindset is changing, we're kind of going through an evolutionary phase right now where we were asleep for a long period of time, and now all of a sudden we're awakening and realizing that we're not just human beings, this flesh and blood and bones. We're actually more than that. Much more. And we're necessary, absolutely essential, crucial for us to exist in order for the universe to exist, because we're helping the universe become conscious of itself. And the more conscious or aware or spiritually awakened we become, the more we can help the universe with that consciousness. But most of us right now are still asleep, and we're walking around in this sleepwalking phase where we have no idea how crucial and essential we are to the universe. We still think we're just these cogs in the system and we don't really matter. But once we become conscious and we realize, okay, we're actually much bigger than we give ourselves credit for, then we realize that we can co-create with the universe. And that's when the real magic happens. That's when you start creating your world and you're just boggled, absolutely boggled by what you can do. You decide that you want your day to look like this, and because you're co-creating with the universe, your day ends up being exactly as you imagined it to be. You decide that you want this amount of money in the bank tomorrow, and you make it happen because you're co-creating with the universe. In that mode where you get into, everything happens as you want it to happen, because you're not just a human being, but you are consciousness itself. You are the universe itself. You are the universe, and you are in the universe. You're not just a random piece of meat. You aren't just, bones and blood and meat. You're not just this flesh, but you're so much more than that. And you'll notice that the more you meditate, the more conscious you become, the more you awaken, you realize, I am bigger than what I gave myself credit for the past few, whatever, 100 years. And I'm becoming more conscious of it. And the more conscious I become, the more I help other people become more conscious, as I've said in the previous podcast. And our consciousness matters, because not only is it our consciousness, not only is it consciousness of the rest of the universe, it's the consciousness of the world, it's the consciousness of everything on this planet, and every planet and every universe and every parallel universe. Everything matters. Everything is interconnected. And it's the universe becoming conscious of itself, us becoming conscious of ourselves, us becoming conscious of the universe. It's such a beautiful journey that we're on. It's so interesting to kind of go deeper within this and try to untangle the web that we've created for ourselves. I'm still doing this for myself, and it's going to be decades, even perhaps more lifetimes, before I figure out any of this stuff. But I wanted to share this with you guys because it's so interesting to me, and I hope that I've kind of explained it in a manner where it makes sense to you guys as well. Please message me anytime if you guys have any questions at boomshikha@themillionairehippie.com. And I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening. Go check out my website at themillionairehippie.com if you want more free, awesome content. If you really like the podcast, please consider giving me a 5-star review on iTunes. Until next time, namaste.